Hi everyone, welcome back to a new post today. And yesterday we spoke about the three-phase ceasefire deal between Hamas and Israel. And today it's another international issue where US has accused Russia and Ukraine of using chemical weapons. And there was an inspection by the Organization for Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, and it informed that the allegations that it has received is based on insufficient evidence, and it has not been substantiated. So Russian Federation and the Ukraine we know that they are at war, and it's been almost 2 years since they are at war, and so they have accused each other of the allegations of using of chemical weapons to the Organization for Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, and this conclusion was given by the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons after its inspection. Now this organization said that it has not received any official request to investigate any claims after the United States accused Russia last week of using toxic agent chloropicrin against the Ukrainian troops. So it's a nerve agent, and the Organization for Chemicals Weapons Convention described the situation as volatile between Russia and Ukraine and extremely concerning regarding the possible re-emergence of the toxic use of chemical weapons. Now last week it was the US State Department which has accused Russia of having used chemical weapons against Ukraine forces in violation of the Chemicals Weapons Convention. And in addition to this, the chemical weapon or the chemical agent chloropicrin, Russia has also used riot controlling agents like tear gas as a method in warfare in Ukraine, and this is a clear violation of the Chemicals Weapons Convention. So what exactly is chloropicrin? Now it is an oily liquid which has a very pungent odor and is known as a choking agent that is widely used during the World War I as a form of tear gas as well. The US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has labeled it as a lung damaging agent, and it can cause severe irritation on the skin, eyes and respiratory system. So the Organization for Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, which is formed under the Chemical Weapons Convention, which came about in 1997, specifically prohibits its use. Although it does not produce tears and is sometimes referred to as tear gas, it is not classed as a riot control agent. So we have a Chemical Weapons Convention. Officially it is called as the Convention on the Prohibition of Development, Production, Stockpiling and the Use of Chemical Weapons on Destruction and on their destruction as well, in an arms controlled treaty administered by this organization called as the Organization of Prohibition of Chemical Weapons. Now it is an intergovernmental organization and is based in the Netherlands, Hague. So the treaty came into force in 1997. It prohibits the use of chemical weapons which are a segment of the wider use of chemical weapons, which is described as weapons as mass destruction. So this chemical weapons prohibits the use of this convention prohibits the use of chemical weapons and also prohibits the large scale development along with production, stockpiling, transfer of these chemical weapons. Now the main obligation of the member states under the convention to this effect is that they should prohibit the use and also destroy all or existing any of the chemical weapons, and all destruction activities must take place under the Organization for Prohibition of Chemical Weapons verification. So it has to verify whether they have really destroyed these weapons or not. Now as of 2022 August, we have 193 states that have become parties to the Chemical Weapons Convention along with India as well, and it has accepted its obligation. Israel has signed but has not ratified the agreement, while the three United UN members such as Egypt, North Korea and South Sudan have neither signed nor acceded to the treaty. So they are outside the Chemical Weapons Convention. Now most recently the state of Palestine has deposited its instrument of accession to the Chemical Weapons Convention in 2018. In 2013, Syria acceded to the convention as a part of the agreement for destruction of Syria's chemical weapons. As of February 2021, we have 98.39% of the world's declared chemical weapons stockpile as destroyed, and this is given by the Organization for Prohibition of Chemical Weapons itself. The convention as prohibitions for evaluating the chemical production facilities, as well as for the investigation and allegations of use and production of these chemical weapons based on the intelligence of other state parties as well. So as I told you, that chemical weapons are a part of the weapons of mass destruction, which also include your biological, chemical, radiological, nuclear and other weapons that can kill or significantly harm people, cause great damage to artificial structures like buildings, natural structures like mountains, and even the biosphere. So chemical weapons have been used all around the world in various civilizations in ancient times and even during the World War. In the industrial era, there was an extremely extensive use of these chemical weapons, especially during the World War I, and also by the Axis powers during the World War II, both in battle as well as in the camp regions of these countries. And although the Allied the powers had stockpiled them, they definitely later they destructed these chemical weapons. So the countries in the Western Europe renounced the use of such weapons earlier, and as of 2018, a handful of countries have known inventories of these weapons, and many are also in the process of now destroying them under the Chemicals Weapon Convention, under the supervision of the Organization for Prevention of Chemical Weapons. So however, the proliferation still continues in the war zones, especially they have been seen used by Israel and Palestine, and also Russia and Ukraine, and also Syria as well, and many other West Asian countries as well. There are concerns about the proliferation of these chemical weapons into the illegal hands and the devastation that they can spread. So this is about the recent issue about how the accusations of using of chemical weapons have gone to the Organization for Prohibition of Control of Chemical Weapons by United States against Ukraine and Russia. And this is an organization that looks after the non-proliferation of these chemical weapons and also looks into the destruction under its evaluation and control as well. We have 193 parties, but some are still outside the web. That means there is a greater chance of proliferation from these countries to other countries, and also from other countries maybe to these countries as well. So I hope these few points were really helpful to you all. This is an important topic not only from international affairs but also from the security point of view, because Chemical Weapons Convention is definitely one of the important part of science and technology, and also from security point of view, which comes under the various treaties and conventions to control terrorism and also warfare methodologies as well. So if you did, please do like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to comment at the end of the video, and I shall see you in my next post. Until then, it's very happy learning.